Good, good. How about you?
Good, good, good. How were the holidays? How were those for you?
Good. I mean, I don't love the holidays, so I got a lot of work done. And, and I read books and I just laid low, which is
Yeah,
what I wanted.
that's how I am too. I actually this year I actually regretted not, taking a vacation like over the holidays.
Oh yeah. No, I Christmas weekend, because it was that Saturday Sunday, I left my house one time to go get decaf coffee, cups. Otherwise, I didn't leave my house, and I couldn't have been happier. Like
Mhm.
I'm an introvert by trade, so worked out great for me.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So wait, so tell me, what do you have going on this year? Like you have so much going on with your business. It's 2023 now, and what's on the books for you?
So the biggest thing this year is realignment. The last couple of years have been so out of whack, just with the economy and everything else. Now is the time for um, us to get back to what we know we do best. Get disciplined on what we know is where we make our money, and then how do we redefine success? Not really success. Refine our processes and actually implement them. Right? It's like constantly evolving.
Mhm.
COVID. We've been in business 7 years, so it's like we've almost been in business now in a post-COVID world as long as we were in business in a pre-COVID world. So getting back to how things were before and not chasing and wondering and worrying, but sticking with what we know works.
So are there any like big trends? We have inflation, we have this recession, we have a labor short, we have all these things going on.
It's
And
the
you,
same it's broken record trend. That's the trend. The trend is we are better with labor, but still not great. The biggest thing is uncertainty. It's like there wasn't this like aha moment after the election. I thought there would be. Inflation's still high. Employees are still hard to come by. Fuel has finally leveled off, so that was good, right? So that adds some stability. And then for us, that's really the housing market, because the housing market drives a lot, right? We know that there's new house builds, then the new house sales. New house sales have definitely leveled off, and we'll see with inflation if it continues to raise. They never know what's going on. Like as much as they want to predict, like you can watch everything. Like they raised the rates a few weeks ago. They'll probably raise them again before the end of Q1. What does that mean? I would anticipate new home sales to continue to drop, not like a fall off, but they've leveled off. They have leveled off for the last few quarters and now continue to drop. And the reason why that is because if new home sales aren't selling, then remodeling goes up, right? So we see more dumpsters and we see more projects in remodeling. So we're just shifting dollars. But if we start to see remodeling slowing down and new home sales, then it's really going to impact our industry.
so let's, we have remodeling, we have all these things going on, inflation, labor
Yep.
shortages. Let's talk a little bit about labor shortages right
Yeah.
now. Hiring employees. What's important about, getting a good set of employees on board with you and retaining them?
Well, that's the biggest thing. So what we have seen is I have seen more white collar work. We're getting more applicants. Like we've had a vacancy for 6 months in an operations position, and since the first of the year, we've got more qualified candidates, and we're finally able to make an offer to someone. So, but even the quality of candidates was significantly higher. The blue collar, the laborers, the drivers, still a struggle, and I don't know why that is, other than there's free money out there. Like we had a driver that he had quit to go to CDL school. He didn't want to come back because he can collect unemployment dollars. So there's still this mindset that has something to do with the economy, right? We talk about even the unemployment numbers. It's like, well, it's record lows. It's like, well, there's all these unemployed Americans that aren't collecting unemployment, right? Because they're doing side jobs or side hustles or cash jobs or whatever. That I think is going to continue to happen and trend. The pandemic or whatever really opened the eyes to a lot of people that got laid off. Like, hold on, this company will get rid of me in a heartbeat. Why don't I just go it at my own? You know what I'm saying? And there's record number of businesses that have started in the last 3 years. So
Mhm.
I see more and more, again, independent owner operators that can get into it. I even seen it in junk removal. The economy might be slowing down and it might be leveling off, but I'm seeing more and more people quit their gigs to start their own businesses. So that's interesting with us as smaller or regional haulers. Is
Mhm.
it's going to get a little murky. It's the water is going to get a little bloody when we have all these small independent owner operators. The goal is that we are able to take care of our local communities and collaborate with each other and not kill each other and then let the big boys win, right? Because there's the
Exactly.
big and even franchises are doing well right now. So it's like It's like everyone sees an opportunity to stake their own ground, and less people want to work for somebody else.
Exactly. So where do you start this collaboration? For instance, if there's an area of business that you're looking to get into and you see one of these little guys pop up, or another, business entity that you feel like you could partner with, where do you start?
Sit down and meet them, right? One of the beautiful things about being a local or regional business is there's not 74 layers of command to get to the decision makers, right? Reach out and figure out, how do you collaborate and how do you work together? Like, we do demolition and deconstruction. We work with general contractors that are hiring us, but we also know all our other demo companies in the area, and we know which projects they want and which ones they don't want. Same with junk removal. We know the guys that go after more the hoarding houses or the porter services, things that we don't generally go after, right? So we know where they are and where they are in the market. We know where we are in the market. The worst thing that can happen is you realize that you hate each other and you can't work together. And it's like, well, you probably already, especially if you look at them as competition, that ship already sailed, right?
Mhm.
So how can you find ways where it's like, well, no, this would be a better project for you, this is a better project for me? Sometimes it's geographic, right? How can you best both serve your customers? And that's the key. So sit down and meet with people, right? Like let's get back to the world that we were in long ago from a communal standpoint, where we sat down, we broke bread, we had a beer, whatever you need to do to understand where the other person's coming from. Otherwise, you sit and you look at their website, you look at their Facebook page, you're like, oh, I could do this better, I could do that. And then it breeds all this garbage, right? For pun intended. Right? So it's better that we see it, because we all have a common goal, right? Which is to build a successful company. And we all want to serve our community. And most people don't want to see the big companies take more market share.
So, talking about that big market share, you've seen a lot of mergers and acquisitions in the past few years, a lot of major industry
Huge.
consolidation. Where do you see that fitting in? With all these little haulers popping up, with all these small businesses, where do you see the big picture? Where do you see this going?
We got a fight in front of us. We have a complicated fight. You think about 20, 25 years ago, as the landfill started getting consolidated. Trash removal has always been a consolidation game, right? That's how Waste Management got where they're at, right? They didn't build up all these sites. They bought out the BFIs of the world and USA Waste, right? They combined and collaborated. And you're going to see that with the big guys. The goal is for the regional haulers, right? They're running dumpsters, running cans, or even doing junk removal like we do. The goal is to make sure that you have a good, solid company with all those things, good operations software, good accounting and tax prep, because you're going to have to survive some potentially thin times. We see what happened. Junk King got bought out, right? And that's a huge franchise to start with. So they got bought out.
Mhm.
And those big boys are going to continue to have the best tools and the best resources because they're pulling it together. And you got to look at, where are they not, where are their strengths, where they don't lie. And you got to be strong in those areas.
Mhm.
And so that's giving amazing customer service, right? It makes a huge difference here in Milwaukee, for example. We have a lot of Native American names for our cities and towns, Oconomowoc, Waukesha, Wauwatosa. People here, it matters to them that when they pick up the phone, right, that people know how to pronounce the name of their city.
Mhm.
That's how we win, right? It sounds like such a simple example, but it is. It's about participating in your community, and you'll continue to get the right business. The big boys are going to get their piece. But if you think you can just sit back in your office and wait for the phone to ring, your business is already dead and you didn't even know it.
That's really interesting. So, my next question is, we have this industry consolidation. You have this, you have this challenge coming up, but you also have opportunity.
Absolutely.
And some of the things that I've seen you personally post about and talk about are the environmental recycling, the things that you can do from an environmental and sustainability standpoint that some of these larger companies are going to take longer to catch on to.
Absolutely. Well, it's not just the practices, but then it's also informing the community about it, right? Like, so people that don't understand this industry, people I meet in the day-to-day world, a lot of realtors, for example, they're like, oh, Trash Mountain, right? They refer to the landfill as Trash Mountain, like, or they're like that stinky heap of shit. And it's like, well, okay, like, yeah, it's a landfill, right? To me, it's like, well, no, it's a landfill, and there's the MRF, and like, we can explain all the intricacies. To them, it's this big, stinky, nasty place, right? So what we do here is, not only do we recycle, we put out content talk about recycling, but we also do tours of our facility here for other B2B professionals. So we'll bring realtors in here. We do open houses in our building. And then again, I don't have to get into this super in-depth, 5 steps of sustainability. I can just show, okay, there's a landfill. This is what we do. And people are like, oh, I get it. I understand that cart of furniture is going to get loaded onto a truck and it's going to go to a donation center. Got it. Right. And now you paint those pictures and then people want to get behind your business versus like most people I meet, they're like, I don't know. I just put my stuff on the curb and then I wheel my can back up. And that's as far as they think about it. I go back to 7th grade. I did my science fair project on recycling. I've thought about what happens to that 32-gallon bin since I was 10, 12 years old. Most people don't. And so it's not just about being obsessed and loving your craft. It's about sharing it with the world through social media, in-person meetings, or even tours of your facility. Because also, when you bring people in your facility, it makes you think twice about your practices. Like, hey, is this the best way of doing it? Right? Is there a better way of doing it? A safer way of doing it? And then people get excited to hear about the best practices.
Exactly. It's about connecting with the community, explaining, what your processes are and, what exactly you're doing down at the level once it leaves the bin.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of, what I've personally been seeing in terms of education. What is needed is physically showing what happens once it's gone into the bin and where it goes from there.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see the collaboration that can happen between, not the community, government officials, and small haulers like yourself.
Yeah.
So, as we wind down here, so tell me a little bit more about the social media end of it. There's a million platforms out there. How do you find the perfect platforms to communicate these things to your customers?
Throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. So YouTube Shorts has been the best place for us. Under 60 seconds. And then I have a long form. So most of what I do is on YouTube from a recycling standpoint, because that's where our audiences are hanging out. And also look at, where do you watch content? Like I'm not on Instagram. I don't do Snapchat. Sure, there's other ones I don't TikTok, right? So it's like, if I'm not there, there's a good chance that other people aren't there. There's a guy named James Butler. He puts a lot of content on YouTube that I watch, and he's a septic system cleaning guy, right? So it's like, and he's military vet. He's a Navy guy. He talks about leadership, but he also talks about what happens when you don't take care of your septic system. So it's like, go where you're watching content and where people like you are watching content. LinkedIn and Facebook are always good. LinkedIn, because it's that B2B touch. Facebook, because of the number of users that are on it. So for me, that's it. YouTube's one, then LinkedIn, then Facebook. I don't really experiment beyond that. And I've done YouTube, or I've done TikTok, I've done Snapchat, or not Snapchat, I'm sorry, Instagram. It just didn't resonate for me.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to talking to you again. For this and other episodes, please visit waste360.com. Andy, can you lead everybody to your social media and your website as well?
Absolutely. greenupsolutions.org, or you can find me, Andy Weins, DTFT on YouTube, but you type me in YouTube, LinkedIn, / Andy Weins. You can find me on all the places. Also, talk about in person. You can find me in person May 1st through the 4th in New Orleans as we're at the big conference. That's it, right? There's the random shout out. And I was actually looking up Glass Half Full, great place I visited. Talk about, if you want to know about who does social media right, that does tours, that talks about recycling, Glass Half Full in New Orleans. I've actually visited a facility last time I was there. Shout out to those guys. And I will go back to their facility in May when we all get together for the Waste Expo.
And thank you once again for joining me today. Thanks for the shout out for Waste Expo. It is going to be a fantastic event in New Orleans, May 1st to the 4th. Once again, if you want to find out any information about this and other events, you can go to wasteexpo.com or waste360.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day.